Nervous system dysregulation was my life before SBSM. I had absolutely no idea that my nervous system was dysregulated because there were no telltale signs. And I was a scientist and I quit my job in 2022 because of burnout, and I started traveling. On my very first travel to this non English speaking country, on the very first night, I had a panic attack, and the panic attack lasted 10 hours. It was absolutely terrifying. I thought I was dying, and I had to go to the emergency hospital where they couldn't really find anything big. So I went to a spiritual healer because I've also been on a spiritual healing journey since 2017. And she gave me a lot of metaphysical reasons. All of that could be very valid. But the thing that I couldn't understand was what was in my system that was preventing me from just being okay. Like, what was going on in my system, in my physical body that I couldn't handle, that I had to go into a more of, experiencing extreme unsafety in my body. And that's when I came across Irene's course. I signed up for the 21-day nervous system tune up. In the very beginning, I thought the concept of orienting was pointless because I felt nothing. But then I think around day 17 was when I started feeling too much. I kind of had a small anxiety attack and I went into a crying mode. I was crying a lot and I stopped doing any of this, like, all of this for 3 months. And then I came back because, I was starting to orient now. I was starting to orient. I started to understand what orienting really meant because I wasn't in my body. I wasn't grounded enough. Although I was doing grounding practices, I think, there was something that, I hadn't pieced together, the information I hadn't pieced together in my mind. So I started actually grounding, being in my body, observing where I was, and doing all those, exciting bits. And because of how promising the nervous system tune-up was, I signed up for SBSM, and I started seeing effects right away because with SBSM, I experienced my kidneys just relaxing and dropping. But of course, when you see these things, they don't always show up as happy symptoms. They're just, I experienced a lot of pain in my kidneys. I experienced excessive urination. It wasn't incontinence, but it was excessive urination. And I knew this was helping because I was starting to feel better. I was starting to feel better. I was starting to get this juice that was starting to flow inside of me. And then the next biggest thing I observed was how clenched and how rigid and uptight I was all my life. I've been told by many people, and I also noticed that I never had strength in my hands. I always needed someone to open jars for me. It was because I was always clenched. I needed to sit on my hands. I needed to always, keep my hands tight. My jaws were tight. And there was just so much clenching happening in my body. And, I pieced all that information together. It had a lot to do with childhood trauma. So this has really helped. I am on week lab 8 now. I still haven't even finished the course, but I had to come on and make a video because I can see how this is helping me, and I feel very hopeful for what this can bring to my physical well-being, emotional well-being, psychological well-being, and spiritual well-being as well. Because spiritual bypassing isn't something someone consciously chooses. It's not something that you say, I want to bypass. It's just something that happens because of lack of awareness. So if you're a spiritual junkie, if you want to take your shadow work to the next level, you've got to learn to express, these shadows. And SPSM really helped me with that, and I hope it can help you as well.